What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ripping the Pit podcast. I'm your host, Zach, aka Primetime Collecting. We've got Turtle and the Football Fanatics with us. What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing?
Good evening, guys. Doing well.
Doing well, doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. I wanted to kick the show off by asking you, Turtle, and you can kind of give us your rundown of this. You were at the Atlanta Culture Collision show over the weekend. How was it looking for the footy market, and how was the show just as a whole?
Um, Disappointing, I guess, would be a word I would use. There was only two tables basically that had soccer exclusively. Um, Signature collections, and I can't remember the guy's name who has all the jerseys. He has all the jerseys in the background with the big, huge cutouts of Maradona and whatever. But he had a nice selection of like immaculate, really high end soccer actually. But
Nice.
two tables, and then there was some soccer sprinkled in. I remember there was one table that had a display that had a CR7 auto, probably to 10. It was a mess, a huge auto, right? Literally the only card in the entire display case that was soccer. The rest was just other stuff. And that's how it kind of felt like it was mostly that. Now, that being said, those two or three places that had some soccer, actually Vital's Sports Nuts, his local shop had about half a case of good soccer. I bought a goalie from him. But anyway, the ones that had soccer had a lot of people at it, though. It felt like the entire show, people were standing at their tables, people were interacting with them. So while there wasn't a lot, they felt like some of the busier tables at the show. Now, again, I don't know if that's a byproduct of only having one or two, or if there was just all that demand and there wasn't enough supply for it. But um, the show itself was a little bit smaller than January's. I was expecting that because this was the first time they had done this mid-year show. If you want to think, Culture Collision is usually a late January, early February show. Has been, I think, for 4 years now. This show I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and you mentioned earlier when we were getting ready for the show, you're going to the January one. A lot of people that I know, and especially in soccer, were saying the same thing. I'm going in January, but I'm not going to this one. So I knew it wasn't going to be as big, and it wasn't. We didn't fill the room. They did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they sold all the tables out, but it was definitely bigger than your normal regional show, but it was still it was just a little bit disappointing from a total, like, just a scale size. Nothing like the national, nothing, of course,
Right.
but even
Well,
nothing like a Dallas or a Burbank. It was
so
it was
so
that
even
middle
then, though,
ground between your local 50, 100 table show and your big, huge Dallas Burbank kind of thing. It was right in the middle.
yeah. But I guess comparing size-wise versus the national, because the national was the same sort of situation. There was not a lot of soccer tables. There was a solid 5 to 10 that you could maybe run into. Now, obviously, we had the SoCo Expo,
Right.
and that was great to go to, and that was pretty much the main thing for the soccer people. But during the day, it was an absolute battle to go and find soccer cards. And so you would go to different tables, and literally every single table was every other sport, and then they had three soccer cards. They had a Holland, they had a Messi, and they had a Ronaldo, just to appease all the soccer people. So was that kind of the same
Yes.
situation? And kind of the situation being, like you said, the people are flocking to those soccer tables because they have more than just those three guys.
Yes. That's exactly what it was. It was very, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15% of the tables had some kind of soccer, but it was the same three or four names over and over and over again. But the one or two tables that were soccer exclusive that had a nice variety, the KDB autos and some of those for our hobby, not for a player. Don't yell at me if you're a KDB fan, but like those second tier guys in the hobby. Um, those guys were doing really well. At least they had a very, I don't know how they were in sales and everything. I wasn't, that, I don't know how well they did that way, but they were busy all week.
Mm-hmm.
So all 3 days. So I think it's hard to tell, right? When it's that small, when there's only two or three tables, it's hard to tell if it was because those were only the ones there, or was there just that many people who were wanting soccer stuff? It's hard to tell.
I think it's probably just a little bit of both. I think the day that we see more of that. And again, we're just shitting on KDB people right now. But the day that we see more decent KDB cards at those tables that just have the Messi, Ronaldos, and Hollands, we know that we're going to be seeing a bigger growth in the soccer hobby. More goalie stuff for Turtle to go and get.
For the record, I'm not. I have some very good friends that are big KDB fans, and I personally think he's a great player. So don't yell at me or Kisa brothers. But that's what I'm talking about though. That's that second tier hobby. The autos are 100 to 300, $400. That's where, I don't want to say growth, but that's where you're healthy as a hobby, right? You
Absolutely.
don't have 2 or 3 players that carry the hobby. You have 20 or 30 that carry the hobby. That's
right.
where we need to be, and where we are. So, sometimes on our streams and things like that, we're like that. But that's where I think where we'll know, we're a lot healthier, is when those kind of guys are showing up more in tables and more, and the transactions of those players are strong and healthy. That's what I'd like to see.
Right. Absolutely.
And more goalies.
Oh, of course. Best pickup.
My best pickup was a PSA 1 1958 Pele and Lev Yashin sticker from the 1958
Ooh.
World Cup. So I'm breaking my PC and buying a non-goalie, but it's for Pele. So I think I'm okay doing that. But it's Pele and Yashin on the same sticker.
That's really cool.
And that was really, really cool. That and my Chicharito auto. I picked up a 25 auto of Chicharito. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's fun. Amit, how you feeling after the big Arsenal win this weekend?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, that was a surprising victory. I mean, the way that we won was a little surprising, but yeah, I'm happy about it. We're going into a very difficult period.
We all made predictions who was going to score goals, and we were all wrong.
We're all wrong. Nobody. Just wait till we get to the Champions League later. We'll see how that goes. How'd you feel like without Odegaard? Pretty good?
No, there was definitely a hole. We definitely were struggling in the midfield as well without Declan Rice. That was tough. Jorginho just looked terrible. I don't know how he got in the team of the week or whatever, but he looked so bad. Every time he got the ball, he would try to turn away from the defender, but he would turn into a defender and lose the balls.
Wow.
He was dispossessed way too many times. But yeah, I'm happy with the win, and we need a little bit of momentum going into this crazy period of games.
Yeah, you guys have a lot coming up. Full transparency, I did not get to watch the game. It was my son's birthday party that morning, so I was out and about doing stuff. But I have to ask, because I didn't get to see anything, did we get to see any up-and-coming young players get any game time or no?
Yeah, Ethan Nwaneri played. He actually played pretty good.
Yeah?
Came on for Saka. Saka came off with some sort of injury, or like he just said he couldn't play anymore. So he came on. He had like 10 minutes. He looked pretty good. He's kind of like an attacking, creative player. He was good at carrying the ball up the field, like kind of evading defenders, and pretty good at passing. Just don't know anything about his shot, how he does in the final third, like shooting and finishing. But passing and carrying the ball up the field are his strengths.
And he's so young, too. There's so much time. I think he's a good buy right now for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, he's pretty expensive.
Still, even then, I don't know. I mean, I like investing in the young guys at the ages they come in now these days, 16, 17. Even if you buy them high young, they have a hard time getting up, in the 20s. Then around 23, they become more of a superstar,
Yeah.
Like imagine,
And he only has one rookie card set. Like he's only in one set so far.
And that's probably also why he's high, only having one card versus the 1,000 Lamines that we have. But the thing is, if you think about like Odegaard, right? Like Odegaard came in with so much hype as he went to Real Madrid, kind of didn't do much over there, and then had this big revival over Arsenal, and he's still, he's not an old player by any means, So that's just an example. But I'm a big advocate of buying into these guys young. So
I'm going to be the exact opposite.
Do it.
We were just talking. I was just talking to some friends earlier. I think that there are too many cases where we buy into these young players and it ends up just they tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's going to happen with Yamal. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Saka or whoever, but there's thousands of cases where the guy didn't pan out, and there's only one Holland, and there's only one Bellingham, and there's 3 or 4 like that have, and even them, it's still early on them compared to Messi and Ronaldo and Johan Cruyff and whoever you want to throw out there from whenever. Like I'm getting old and I'm getting like, oh, you young whippersnappers, but I mean I'm starting to kind of like, I don't want to get caught in that. All it takes is a Mason Greenwood to happen. How many people got hammered by that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's probably not going to happen with Dino Zoff or Gigi Buffon. I'm throwing goalies out there for you. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like, that's probably not going to happen with those guys. I feel like maybe it's a safer play, and maybe that's my age showing, and you're supposed to do that as you get older. Start to put stuff into less riskier and less riskier. But I I'm starting to think veteran proven Hall of Famers is better than the rookie who might be one in 20 years.
Sure. I think the most important thing to consider, like when you're talking about this too, is the old adage of, and it's such the truth with the hobby, and sometimes we lose focus of it. Buy what you like. Like that's the most
Oh
important
yeah, no,
thing.
that's
I'm
always
100% in on that, and I can speak firsthand on it. I lost a lot of money as a United fan. Greenwood. I've even lost a good amount of money on Rashford stuff. Bought him while he was high, right? Like, but again, not necessarily the Greenwood stuff anymore, but the Rashford stuff, it stays with me. It doesn't go anywhere. It
right.
was more just for me. And if I like a player, like somebody that I like, and we'll get into it later, I really like Gyökeres this year. I like the way he's playing, and I'm looking at getting some of his stuff. But again, we'll get into that a little bit later. And I just want to say, guys, Man United's back. We're back.
Wow.
And you guys got to watch out. Southampton 3-0. We smashed Barnsley 7-0 today. Anthony scored a goal. That's when you know the tides are turning. Just watch out. Top 4 finish this year.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Just saying.
Right.
Choked me up
Watch
a
out
little
for
bit.
it. Watch out for it. That was my little rant I had to go on. I'm excited about United again. Until next week, and then I'm going to go back into a deep depression.
Yeah, exactly. Give it a week.
Exactly.
Lose to somebody in the Carabao Cup, and you'll be all upset.
Well, not today. Barnsley, we crushed them.
Yeah, I'm saying next week, whatever. A week or two, you'll lose to somebody that can barely pay the rent on their building, and it'll be like, how's that happen?
While Real Madrid was almost losing in their Champions League game, we were smashing up on Barnsley. Okay, there's no comparison. So, all right, guys, let's quickly go into this. This is going to take a little bit of time, but this is what I'm most excited about to do today. We got the checklist for Merlin that releases on Friday. We're recording this Tuesday night. I just want to kind of take a little bit of a deep dive into this. And off the top of the head, I just want to ask you guys, like, what is one thing when you were looking at it that really stuck out to you that you were excited about?
The Donnarumma ball booklet. I'm a buyer.
I knew you were going to say that.
Like, it's the only, like, it's literally, I think, the only goalie card that's like worth crap. There might be a couple of base autos here and there, but I'm not like, I'm joking, of course, but like, to be honestly, I think that was the only goalie that I saw from the big, huge hits. I don't think there's any goalie in the Renaissances. I don't think there's any goalie in any of the other stuff. So for me, that Donnarumma match ball booklet card, I'm a buyer. If anybody pulls one, just, send them my way. But that I literally got excited when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's something.
And I bet it is going to be a pretty sick card.
Yeah, I mean, I love booklets. I love printing plates. I love clear cards. The weird, goofy cards to me are cooler than the case hits. I like a case hit here and there, of course, like a Renaissance. I'd love to have a Renaissance of a goalie, but those kind of things throw me back to the '90s when I was getting into the hobby as a teenager or whatever, and those were just being invented. The first patch cards. I remember when the first patch cards came out, they put a patch of a player's jersey on a card. How'd they do that? That's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, now it's like, whatever. Is it gaming? Back then it was like, there's a piece of fabric, like that's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
I
So
remember those.
that stuff like that to me is cool. So that booklet's probably going to be really nasty, and
Yeah,
I would like to get it at some point. But anyway,
I agree. I'm excited to see the images of them for sure. What about you, Amit? What stuck out to you?
For me, it's going back to our other conversations. It's usually the rookies, the rookie set.
Hmm.
Merlin does a really good job of bringing in just random wacko team, what like teams you've never heard of, and a bunch of rookies that you've never heard of. And then on top of that, they're bringing in like some rookie autos. So I'm really happy to see Georgis rookie autos, Camarda rookie autos, and I think those are the two big ones that haven't had autos in any other set. And then some just bringing back the big name rookies with autos like Lamine Yamal, and I saw Bradley Barcola also has autos. So those are some things I'll be looking out for, and I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think those three guys, Camarda, Jokeres, and Barcola having autos was definitely something that stuck out to me. I was also interested to see that there was rookie variations. I'm not sure if they're going to be some sort of short print, but I don't remember ever seeing that before. And then one thing that I always love from Merlin, the Ageless Alchemies, those are always great. I think it's a pretty strong checklist. Zidane, Maradona, Gattuso, Yaya Torre, Fernando Torres. Like, there's some really cool ones. Ronaldinho, Eto, Ronaldinho with Milan, by the way. That's
Hmm.
real. That's real vintage Ronaldinho right there. So I think that was pretty sick. And then the thing that we got images of, I don't know if you guys saw it in the Discord. Someone had posted pictures of, I don't know if it's the sword card or if it's the Merlin Gamers. I think it's the Merlin Gamers,
Oh, yeah, the gamers, yeah.
where it looks like a TCG card.
Hmm.
Now, I like this. I grew up collecting Pokemon. My kids collect Pokemon. So for me, this is super cool. And I think it's kind of a nice crossover. I'm I'm very intrigued and wonder why Topps decided to test something out like this in soccer, because you don't really have anything like this in a football, baseball, basketball yet. But I think it was a cool idea and a cool set. And I can imagine that when it's a complete set, it will look really cool.
well, they have a history of testing stuff out on other products. Like for example, Star Wars Galaxy, was it 23 Galaxy? Is when they started that first Chrome technology, the new Chrome technology that now we
Mhm.
see in Chrome product.
Mhm.
Um, and then we have a history like the manga cards. We've had those for a couple of
Sure.
years. We've seen a little bit of that crossover with what you're talking about, but nothing like what we saw, today. So
Oh yeah, I think it's really cool. And I think mangas are a great, tribute to like comic book sort of thing. This obviously is a sort of tribute to like a TCG, like I said, maybe like a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh. I wonder one day how they're going to incorporate, because I imagine they'll somehow find a way to incorporate, more like video games or arcade games, stuff like that, kind of involved in it too. So just things to think about looking forward. I'm going to ask you guys this because I know that we're all going to be having breaks. So I know I'll be breaking starting 8 a.m. on Fanatics Live, a Merlin release day. I know Turtle, you're going to be on release day as well. You're going to be on
yeah, I'll be on
Saturday.
Friday night and Sunday.
Perfect. And then Amit, when are you going to be on?
I'll be next week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Perfect.
whenever. Yep.
So pretty much all across the Vita network, whether it's Fanatics Live or whatnot, there are going to be case breaks of this going on. I know mine are already posted. Turtles are going up tomorrow, and then Amit, yours will probably go up either tonight or tomorrow. What is, when you guys are looking at breaks, and Amit, I'm going to ask you this, besides your favorite team, because I imagine you're kind of disappointed with your team's checklist a little bit.
Yeah.
What spots would you guys be looking to grab?
Uh, Sporting and PSG. I mean, I just like I said before, I like Yorkis and Barcola. They both have rookie autos. I mean, Barcola's had rookie autos in previous sets, but this this just adds on. I think this will be a, the next level down behind the Black Laser auto. So yeah, Barcola, and then Yorkis hasn't had any rookie autos out yet. So those two spots, I mean, they have plenty of other players on there, but those are the two big chases that I'm interested in.
think that AC Milan spot you mentioned earlier is an
That's what I was
interesting
gonna say.
spot with the legends in there as well. I think that one was the one that stuck out to me when I was figuring out the break. I was like, ooh, that's an interesting checklist for that team. So
That's the one that I like the most too. Just looking at it, like, and I had mentioned it before, I do really like Camarda as a rookie. So his first rookie auto is a great chase, and it's one of those things like if you miss and you end up with a Pirlo, you end up with a Ronaldinho, a
are
Shevchenko.
you really mad?
Are you upset? No. So I think that spot has a lot of different angles that I can hit really, really good. But again, guys, as always, and we'll keep reiterating this: buy what you like. If you want to gamble, have fun. Make sure you know that you're gambling with it. But it should be all for fun and just grab what you guys like. But look out on the Vita Network, and I'll post all the links in the YouTube video to all the different shows that we have going on, guys, so you guys can jump in. Any other thoughts on Merlin? Things that you wish we had in this set, or other things that you're excited about, guys?
To be honest with you, I'm excited that the base checklist is only 147, 150 cards. I like a product that's not huge 200, 300, 400 card sets. It means that when you hit color, it's probably going to be a good name. It's just more exciting when the checklist in general is players that people care about and doesn't have a whole bunch of guys who don't even play on their national teams, kind of a player. So I like the fact that the checklist is a condensed, thought out, 150 total cards. Other than the inserts and everything else, but the regular color is we're gonna hit some good stuff because the checklist just isn't massive. So
Correct. Now, here's the question, and I can't find the numbers anywhere. And if you guys have it, you can say it, but I want you guys to guess. What's the highest number parallel we're getting?
I thought I saw 299, but I don't.
That's
quote me on
actually
that.
not that bad.
Is
I
it
mean,
lower than
my guess was going to be 399.
that? Okay. I thought I
But I
saw.
haven't seen anything on it.
I thought I saw a little bit of a rundown, and I remember thinking it was like ooh, it's not like what was the product we did a few months
They
ago?
have it.
Like
Have it
Bundesliga?
149. Yeah, probably Bundesliga had
Out of
399.
499.
I mean, but there was another product. I'm drawing a blank, but there's stuff that we had the highest numbered card was the 99 or 149. I was like, dang, that's it's right in the middle, so I think it was okay.
Yeah, I think it's something that they definitely have to keep working on. I think it's great and I like the idea of having the shorter checklist, like you mentioned. But at the same time, nobody's really looking for those out of 499 parallels, even the out of 399. Out of 299, I think is a fair point, because we do need the set to be big enough that we can obviously keep getting new people in, but at the same time, we don't want it to be, no value on the parallel cards that we're pulling.
So I pulled it up now. They do have the out of 399.
Yeah, I was just looking at the checklist. Also, there's 399 on there. Yeah.
Well, there goes that.
Neon green shimmer, 399.
Yeah,
It's same as last year. Same.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I think the whole purpose of having that high of a number is to try and keep bringing new people in. Like, they have to make so much product that they can keep bringing new people in.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what they did do, and I'm not happy about, is they're doubling up on the same numbered cards. So there's two orange. There's an orange refractor and an orange mojo.
Yeah.
There's a gold refractor and a gold atomic. There's blue refractor and blue shimmer. They're both to 75.
Yeah.
So it's like, the green. There's two greens to 99. There's two aquas to 199. So they're when you double up like that, is it really to 99 or is it really to 200?
Well,
199.
that's a debate that I think we're about to get into anyways. But I will say with this, like, that's kind of traditionally been a thing with Merlin, like one of my favorite cards in my collection. And this might be the only color that they could get away with keep doing it and people would be happy with it. I really love my gold atomic Guler PSA 10 rookie that I have. The gold atomics they're cool looking.
Yeah.
all the shimmers and all those extra things, I think a lot of people could do without. So, but that kind of leads us into the next thing that we wanted to talk about. And Turtle had kind of mentioned this to us last week, was why is it that case hits have such a higher value compared to different certain parallels?
I'm going to
So I
bring in a
know,
guest speaker for this.
absolutely.
Tyler, Tyler, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys?
What's
How's
up?
it going, Tyler?
Good, man.
So tell us your
Tyler's
thought
the
on
owner of
this.
Breaking Bangers. If you've never seen him on one of my streams before, he heard me last week because I do the stream from the shop, or the podcast, excuse me, from the shop. And we talked about it for a few minutes after we were done on the podcast. So what's your opinion on the theory of
the case hits?
case hit versus, say, a number to 50? Why is a case hit, there might be a production of 150, more sought after than a card that's numbered to 50?
So, obviously, as a store owner, I see a lot of, people that collect all kinds, right? And I see a lot of people, budget-wise, where, the amount of money that they have to spend on a card, might vary, and sometimes people settle. Hey, I can't afford the out of 5, but the same artwork is on the out of 20 or the out of 99, and so I'm going to settle for that card. So I think that sometimes, because of the demand for an out of 5, can be lessened because there are other variants or parallels of that card that have the exact same artwork, just in a different color. Whereas with a case hit like a Downtown or a Kaboom, or something similar to that, you can only get that card in that version. Or better. Obviously they have, numbered case hits, but the case hit itself, the base version of that card is generally pretty rare, whereas the base version of a numbered to 5 card is not very rare. You can often get a base card for a couple dollars, whereas a number to 5 might be a couple $100 or more.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I think it kind of goes into what Turtle was just saying too about having multiple of the same colors. So like in a chrome you could have a base gold, you could have a gold shimmer, you could have a gold atomic, you could have so many different variations of the gold. So your out of 50 really turns into an out of 200, right? Because there's so many of the same color in a different parallel. Amit, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm pretty much along the same lines. I think it's just all about market demand. You see some case hits tank, nobody cares about them. Look at a lot of the case hits from Prism. They just don't do well. But then you have like Kabooms, which they might have the same print run or slightly more, and they sustain their value because of market demand. It's like their reputation, their design in the hobby just keep that value high. And I think that's also why the values of some of these case hits stay so high relative to like an out of 5 or something much more rare. We know another example of this is like we know that this is actually an opposite example that like short printed cards like lavas or whatever. There's like some lavas that are they have a print of 5, but we still prefer like a gold out of 50 because the gold out of 50 has like a higher reputation. Has a higher demand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I think that
Absolutely.
personally, I get sucked into that supply side of the supply and demand thing. I think scarcity is what should be driving it, but I sometimes, my own fault, don't go with the demand side. People want a Kaboom more than they want a to 50 or a to 25 even sometimes. Even if there
Mm-hmm.
are 150 Kabooms out there, they want a Kaboom and
there's
they're
an
willing to
appetite.
pay
Yeah,
to get that Kaboom versus the orange to 25, which my supply side of my brain says they should want the orange to 25 more than the Kaboom. But to
Mm-hmm.
Tyler's point, there's a 1, a 5, a 10, a 25, a 50, a 99, a 150 with all the same image. Whereas the Kaboom, there's only 150 of that one image. So
Right. And at the end of the day, people aren't getting into these products or cards in general with logic, They're doing it, based off vibes, Like seriously, like think about it. If we let's take FIFA Select that we were all just ripping, right? There's the 3 case hits, the Visionary, the artistic impression and the stained glass. And I guess you could include the badges too, because they're one per case. But at the end of the day, stained glass is king. Why?
Yeah.
They all come one per case typically. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time. So they're probably all generally around the same print run. So print run at the end of the day for people doesn't really matter. Like I said, people are just strictly buying off of vibes. They're doing what's visually appealing to them, and also what does everybody else get excited about? You know, why do color blasts do more than kaboom? Why do kabooms do more than stained glass? Why do stained glass do more than artistic impression? It's just, what does everybody like? So that's awesome. Thank you for jumping on and sharing your thoughts, Tyler. Appreciate the knowledge. You're welcome back anytime, buddy.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Yep.
So with that being said, guys, we're all going to go crazy over Renaissances for Merlin that come
They
out
look
this
pretty.
week. They do look good. They do look really, really good. And last year, they do have parallels of those, don't they? So they have like the reds and different variations, correct?
They did last year. I don't know if they have it this year.
I don't know if I've seen that yet. Yeah.
I'm going to look really quickly on this checklist.
Oh yeah, they did. They put out a 5 and a superfractor.
Oh, a super. Let's go. That is, so if you were guys, let me put this out there because we don't have it yet. And I can promise you one day it's coming because we know they're always trying to innovate. If you could pick one case hit that's out there to put an auto onto, which one would it be?
That's gotta think about it.
Wow.
Because nobody's done it yet. Panini or Topps. Not that Panini's going to be making cards much longer anyways, but somebody's bound to do it. I would say within the next 3 to 5 years, someone's bound to do it.
You know, I think color blast. I think because there's enough space to do it on a color blast. I think for the white ones, maybe not the black one, but the white color blast. I think it would look clean on.
Vertical or horizontal?
Oh, horizontal. Yeah, the
Interesting.
horizontal color blast is something about that.
Interesting. I do agree. There's something about the horizontal color blast. At the same time, nobody likes horizontal auto cards.
It's because they haven't seen it yet.
What if it's on
blast.
card?
That's true. They haven't seen it on the color blast yet. For me, I actually think it'd be the Renaissance. I think it could be cool with that. Renaissance is kind of similar and has stained glass type of vibes, but I don't think it's as busy as the stained glass cards. So I think that's why I would like the autos on those. Amit, do you have a thought?
Yeah, you hit me with this question without any prep.
Yeah.
Just kind of came off the top of my head. Sorry.
Go ahead and say kaboom.
I think kaboom could be great.
I have to put like a little whited out block, but
I do think like what we were talking about, a kaboom auto would be in whatever sport, football, basketball, whatever, that would be a massive chase.
Absolutely.
In the hobby for whatever sport it would be. More than probably any other case hit out there. Not one that I want to see, but I think if all of them had it all of a sudden, it would be the bigger chase of all of them.
Yeah. I agree. I think that if they did it though, I don't know if they'd be able to keep the regular versions. Do you think they would still be able to keep the regular versions? I mean, you would be chasing after that auto endlessly.
Why not? I mean, you like you said, there's numbered versions of the case hits now. I think you could do auto versions of the case hit.
Yeah.
I thought again, we're just speculating here. Topps last year, Topps Chrome was the Jogo Bonito case hit. They had case hit auto, but it's like kind of like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
They did that, yeah.
It's not like a well-known case hit.
Yeah, it wasn't a great one.
Chrome hobby never does have well-known case hits.
Jogo Bonito was great the first year they did it, and then after that, it never held up to the same standards. So it's just an interesting topic. If people are watching, they can put in the comments what they think would be a good case hit auto. I think the kaboom would be cool. I think it'd be a cool on card if they signed it in something, a little bit denser, like a Sharpie sort of thing. Anywho, let's go into this last thing that I wanted to talk about today, boys. Champions League kicked off. I talked about it earlier. Madrid barely snuck by. Bayern almost got to double-digit goals today. That was insanity. Sporting crushed 2-0. There was some great games. Liverpool, Milan. Liverpool came out on top. So let's go through. I want you guys to give me who you think is going to and win the Champions League and who you guys got winning the Golden Boot. And I'm going to just preface mine, and I'm not going to go first. I'll let Turtle go first. But I'm going to preface this by saying I still don't understand this Champions League format. I don't want to try and understand it because it's very difficult to understand. I'm going to just watch the games and enjoy the soccer. That's it.
So, I mean, if we're not going to give, like, if it's not going to be with odds or whatever, then I got to go with Man City. I don't see why right now they wouldn't be.
I don't think
favorite.
you didn't say that right. Did you mean to say Man Shitty?
No, Man City much better than Man United. But I mean, they're the favorite and they're looking really good right now. So it's hard to say otherwise. I mean, even the only caveat to that is Real Madrid somehow, some way keeps figuring out a way to keep doing it at the end of the Champions League, and out of nowhere almost it seems like, well, they're done, and then they just keep going and not losing in the elimination rounds. But
well, will it be Real Madrid coming through, or will it be Holland again not being able to score in a big game?
Who knows? I mean, I don't know. But that's who my Golden Boot would be, to answer the second part of that question. Erling Haaland.
Okay.
I mean, he's got 9 goals in 4 games in the Premier League against some pretty lame teams, a couple here and there. But if I'm just being asked what my prediction is, I'm gonna usually go with the favorites because that's more likely statistically to happen, right?
Sure.
So I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go with the chalk.
We know Amit's got Arsenal.
No, I was honestly going to say the same exact answer, but I have to give my contrarian opinion now. I can't be the same as Turtle.
You can.
No, I would have different reasons. I mean, Manchester City have started insanely hot. Holland has started really hot, and usually they kind of start sluggish. So I think they will win, but I think they'll have an even bigger motivation to win because they're going to get 100-point deduction pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean that's
It's a
coming.
possibility.
So they're going to be playing in the championship next year. They're going to need to keep all their players. So they're going to have to play in the Champions League, and the only way to do that is to win the Champions League.
That is actually a scenario that sounds fun as well. Imagine a championship team in the Champions League. That's amazing.
It's galaxy braining it, but you can see like if they do get hit with that points deduction, they're only playing their big players during Champions League. They're just focused on winning that. Like it's something that we have never seen, but I could definitely see some sort of weird thing like that happening. So I mean I don't like the theory.
That's Arsenal's best chance of winning a title, and I'll take it.
Yeah, that's true. Amit made that theory just so in hopes that Arsenal would win the Prem.
I mean,
right.
It's in the realm of possibility. The trial is starting tomorrow or whatever for their 112 charges of the financial.
I think it's almost likely scenario that they get some kind of deduction that at least, I'm not saying knocks them into the championship, but will eliminate them from winning the league. I mean, I think it'll be a 20-point hit, and they'll end up finishing 9th, and so I believe. I mean, they've been hammering teams lately.
They have been, and I will say, I hope they lay the hammer down. But if it is just a 20-point deduction, and then Arsenal still finds a way to choke it, that would be the most Arsenal choke job ever. That would be amazing. I'm going to give my prediction. So a little bit based off of watching today's games and then a little bit off of what I think is just bound to happen. I think it is time for Bayern to come back to glory. And I think that Harry Kane's going to win that Golden Boot to go with it.
He's cursed. He won't win He'll never win a trophy.
Brother, I agree with that curse so much, but my heart tells me that this is the year that it gets broken. And if I just get half my predictions right and he just wins the Golden Boot, I'm okay with it because
I would prefer it the other way. I would prefer him to win a trophy and not win the Golden Boot, to be honest with you. I think from a personal standpoint, I mean, like I would love to see him get a trophy. He deserves, for what he's meant to soccer over the last 10 years or whatever, I would like him to get a trophy, right?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
To me, that's more important than the Golden Boot,
Let me put this into hobby perspective and ask you guys a question. Harry Kane wins Bundesliga. Let's say they win a treble this year. They win Bundesliga, Champions League, DFB Pokal. Does that actually change the Harry Kane market, or is he that cursed and people don't care?
10% at the most.
Yeah,
Which
people
isn't
don't care.
much.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think.
crazy. People don't
I
care.
think he's been so
People just don't
cursed
like
for
him.
so long that people are burned out with him.
Yep.
So I mean, he's a great player, an all timer, absolutely. But not having that trophy, and that's a topic that maybe we'll talk about that next week. Do trophies matter in soccer? We can kind of deep dive into that and what's the most important thing in the market. But
Yeah.
that
We
is
know they do.
they do. But also, what other trophies matter? Do golden boots matter? Things like that.
Yeah.
Ballon d'Ors. We'll go into that next week. I think that'd be
That
good.
sounds good. Yeah.
Do you guys have any last thoughts on anything we talked about today, or anything you want to put out there to everybody watching?
I think soccer is strong right now, and maybe too strong. We talked a little bit earlier tonight with some friends about maybe there's too much soccer going on, but with all the competitions and things, we talked about that last week, if I'm not mistaken. But,
Absolutely, yes.
but it's a lot of fun right now, man. You got a lot of stuff going on, and we're just ramping up. It's that Copa America Euro 2024 is ramping up into what I hope is one of the best World Cups we've ever seen in 26. So
I agree. Amit, any other thoughts?
If you haven't seen the highlights from today's Champions League, go watch the Sporting Lille game. Some really nice goals there, including
Chris,
the
baby.
or watch the Bayern
Yeah.
Munich game and see 11 goals scored in 90 minutes. That's almost
Yeah.
like a
That's true.
highlight show right there, right?
That's
They
true.
disallowed like 5 goals as well, which is insane.
That's nuts. I only got to watch the first half of the Sporting game, and they were playing great.
Yeah, Sporting's really good. Yeah.
They are dark horse for the tournament, I think. All right, guys.
Possible.
That's going to do it for the show. We're going to have Merlin all weekend and into next week. Make sure you check out all the different Vita Network channels on Fanatics Live on Whatnot. And we will see you guys back here next week for another Ripping the Pitch podcast. We'll see you soon.
Later, guys.
Peace out.